be changing the oil in my wife's car. This is a 2019 Lexus NX300. This is not the hybrid, so it only has the 2.4 liter turbo engine in it. This is a 4-cylinder engine that requires oil weight 0W20. This particular engine from the factory will have full synthetic in it. Lexus does recommend 10,000 mile intervals on the oil change. However, I'm going to do them at 5,000. I want to prolong the life of this vehicle. Going in with Valvoline, just because that's the only thing I can get my hands on right now. Here in about 5,000 miles, I'll probably switch it over to AMSOIL full synthetic. I got the STP oil filter. This is the only one I could find here in Alaska for this engine. Part number on that is 9972. So we'll probably go back with OEM Toyota oil filter next time. But for now, this will work. In addition with this, you are going to need a special oil filter cup. The housing for the oil filter on these are plastic. If you get the wrong one, you will strip it out. It'll be a nightmare to take it off. So make sure you go ahead and spend the extra money, get the actual right size. This is a 64.3 millimeter oil filter socket. You can find cheaper ones than this. However, they're not the right size. You'll strip the housing out, and then you have bigger problems. I'll make sure I'll link this below. This was a little bit pricey, but it's worth it if you're gonna do your own oil changes on this vehicle. In addition to that, you're just gonna need a 14 millimeter socket, break loose the drain on the oil pan, and of course your 3/8 ratchet and an extension will be handy for taking off that oil filter. We got 6 quarts, this 0W20 full synthetic. The Lexus oil change interval from the factory, they state it can go 10,000 miles. However, we're going to push it down to 5,000 until I can get a better oil filter on here and I can get AMSOIL in the vehicle. And then at that point, we're probably still going to stick with 5,000, but we'll be a little more lenient in case we do happen to go over 500 to 1,000 miles. Won't be as big of a deal. First thing I'm going to do is just generally look over all the fluids on the vehicle. Make sure the coolant looks good. Coolant on this vehicle right now is at the low mark, which we're going to go ahead and leave it as I don't have any coolant on hand. However, next time I change the oil, I'll recheck it and I'll make sure I have some to go ahead and top it off if needed. Everything else under the engine bay does look good. I'm going to go ahead and pull the dipstick for the oil. Just make sure the oil looks fine. It looks like pretty fresh oil. We did just have this changed by the dealership 5,000 miles ago, so I'm not too concerned with the oil being too old. However, I don't always trust dealerships to change the oil in the vehicle. I prefer to do it myself so I know it's done right. From there, I'm going to go ahead and pull the fill plug, check the bottom of it, just make sure there's no signs of coolant getting into the oil or anything like that, which there's not. To be expected. This vehicle has under 30,000 miles on it, so I'm not too concerned with it having catastrophic problems right now. Still checking it just to make sure everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and crack this dipstick so that way the drain's a little bit easier. Put my drip pan under the vehicle, go ahead and crack that drain. Alright, so on the underside of the vehicle here, we have on the driver's side the transmission pan that has a hex socket on it for removal of the drain plug. We're not attacking that right now, so we're going to bypass that. Shift over to the passenger side of the vehicle. So over here at the passenger side of the vehicle, there's a 14 millimeter drain plug on the oil pan. Then directly in front of that right there is your oil filter housing. So this metal piece right here, that can be removed with a 3/8 ratchet. You just use the anvil on the end of your ratchet and you can break that loose. And it'll actually drain the oil filter out that way. However, you cannot remove the oil filter by doing that. You have to remove this entire housing here with that specialized socket. First things first, we'll start draining that oil, let it come out, and then we'll break this oil filter housing loose, remove the oil filter. All right, so our drain plug's removed here. This vehicle has been undercoated, so you can see the undercoating here on the drain plug. Yours may not necessarily look like this. However, the tip of the drain plug here, as long as it's a factory drain plug, will be magnetized. So that tip there should pull in any metal shavings that may be circulating through the oil pan. I'll give you an indication of any internal wear on the vehicle. This one's completely clean. There's not a single shaving on it. So there's no issues there. That's good news. In addition to that, right here is where your O-ring would seat. So my O-ring stayed attached to the oil pan. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not gonna replace it in this application. Looks pretty good. We're just gonna leave it. I'll monitor it and make sure it doesn't leak. If it does leak, I'll pull the drain plug back off, replace the O-ring. Just make sure when you pull this drain plug off, you identify that either the O-ring is here or is attached to the oil pan. If it's in neither place and you lost it, you're definitely gonna leak. so you'd have to pick up a replacement O-ring in that situation. The safest option, and realistically the right option, is to go ahead and replace that O-ring with every oil change. However, I couldn't find one right now, so I'm going to go ahead and run it with this one. And when I come back with the AMSOIL, I'll go ahead and replace it. All right, so with the oil filter housing off, our next step is going to be remove this O-ring around the housing right here. So we're going to pull that off. Our oil filter came with a replacement O-ring. We're going to put that replacement O-ring on there. We're going to lube it up real well before we reinstall it on the bottom side of the vehicle. So now we have that O-ring reinstalled on the filter housing. We got the filter seated in the housing. We're ready to reinstall this on the vehicle once we lube up this O-ring right here. All right, so all I'm gonna do now is use some of this old oil to lube up this O-ring. Go ahead and reinstall the drain plug and then reinstall this filter cartridge housing. All right, so I got the oil filter housing seated with the O-ring lube. Torque spec on this housing is 25 Newton meters. So I'm gonna grab my torque wrench, just make sure I get it torqued correctly. Don't over tighten it. The drain plug is reinstalled. I have some excess oil dripping from the drain. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that off. That way in the future, if we think we've developed any leaks or anything, it's way easier to identify it with a clean oil pan. All right, so I got my oil filter housing tight. I did use a torque wrench on this. However, if you don't have a torque wrench, 25 Newton meters is about as tight as you can get it by hand. So if you can just hand tighten it without a wrench, you'll be fine. Just make sure you come back, recheck, make sure nothing's leaking, make sure the O-ring is seated properly. Also cleaned off the oil pan down here, so that way in the future, if we do suspect any leaks, they're pretty easy to identify if they're coming from the drain plug. We're gonna go ahead and top off the oil. Really nice thing about this engine cover is you can set a funnel down in it and it lines up perfectly. Just make sure your funnel's clean and you go slow when you're topping your oil off because you don't want to overfill it. So let's start with our 5-quart bottle. While that's draining, I'm going to check the underside of the vehicle just to make sure we don't have any leaks. Make sure you remember to put that drain plug in there. You're not spilling oil all over your garage floor. Make sure that oil filter seated well enough that it's not leaking. More than likely, unless the oil filter is just completely cross-threaded, you won't see any leaks at this point, but you will start to identify them from the oil filter once the vehicle's running. So I'm going to let that drip and sit for just a second. I'm going to check the oil level just to make sure we're not going to overfill it. Alright, so this engine takes 5.2. We put 5 in. Showing high on the dipstick right now, that's mainly because the oil filter hasn't been filled with oil yet. So what we're going to do is start the vehicle, let it run for a little bit, fill up that oil filter, and then after that, I'll come back and recheck and add the last 0.2 quarts of oil that it needs. So now we're going to let this vehicle sit for just a little bit here, probably about 5 minutes or so. Let that oil level come back down. Then we'll add the last 0.2 quarts. We are slightly low from the full line. It is still in the safe zone. However, oil capacity is 5.2 quarts. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure we at least have that in there. So if you look at your bottle, your quart, on the back side here, you'll have approximate measurements. These aren't exact, however, they are pretty close. So a quart's 32 ounces. 0.2 of a quart is a little over 6 ounces. I think it's like 6.4. So 6.4 ounces. We're trying to get this bottle down to about 26 ounces. So we got 24 here. We have 28 here. So 26 is probably going to fall somewhere right here in the middle. So I'm just going to fill it up until we have about this level of oil left in the bottle. So I'll run the vehicle for a more extended period of time. I'm going to replace the windshield wipers real quick. While I'm doing that, I'll keep the vehicle running. Then we'll come back and recheck it, just make sure everything looks good. Alright, so the only thing left to do for your oil change is to reset the maintenance light. So once you start the vehicle up, if an oil change is due, on the heads-up display, you'll get this message. To reset this, all you have to do is go to the menu over here. You're going to go all the way over to settings. You're gonna go down until you hit vehicle settings. Click enter. Scheduled maintenance, oil maintenance. And it says press enter to reset oil maintenance data. So I'm gonna press enter on that. Reset it. Yes. Data has been reset. That's good. So now the vehicle's maintenance tracking system's been reset. Oil change is complete. I'm gonna pull this out, let it run for just a second, and then go ahead and recheck my levels, make sure everything looks good. All right, so for the oil change on this vehicle, it's actually remarkably easy, especially considering this is a luxury vehicle. A lot of times you'll find on luxury vehicles, they'll put a belly pan underneath the vehicle. Certain little dirty tactics like that to kind of keep less mechanically inclined people from attempting to change their own oil. The dealerships do make a pretty penny off of normal maintenance on these vehicles. So it's beneficial to them if you continue to bring your vehicle in and have them serviced by the dealership technicians. But in all reality, this took like 10 minutes of work, 10 minutes on waiting for the oil to drain. It's not that hard. It's way cheaper. The dealership charges $200 for an oil change on this vehicle. It's a luxury vehicle, so they are going to charge a bit of a premium. Realistically, this is just a Toyota Rav4 with a luxury interior and exterior with some LED lights and whatnot. It's not any different. The Toyota Rav4 might cost you $100 to $150 for an oil change. This will cost you $200. You can buy everything that you need to do the oil change yourself for around $50, and that's buying high-end oil and high-end oil filters. So if I were you, I'd do it myself. It's way cheaper in the long run. Hey guys, I just want to thank you for watching the video. Hope you found it useful. Please consider liking and subscribing below. Any tools or parts that were used, they're always listed down in the description. Thank you guys for tuning in to All American Garage.